Jeff Kirui, KTN News.
All right, there you have it. That story by our political affairs reporter, Jeff Kirui, leading us to a discussion this morning. Just to remind you that we're also having that discussion with you on a social media platform, and that is Twitter, where we're asking you whether you think political parties are justified in issuing direct nominations to candidates. And of course, from that story that you've seen there that has been filed by my colleague, it is that there's so many questions that are being asked. Did the National Executive Council for Jubilee have a sit-down with its members to discuss whether they're not going to field any candidate? And of course, is it about the party, or is it about the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, owing to the fact that Jubilee Party has decided not to field any candidate in Embakasi South, in Ugenya? Remember, this is not the first time the Jubilee Party is failing to field a candidate during by-election. We also saw that play during the Migori senatorial by-election, where Jubilee Party did not field any candidate for that seat. So let's talk to a candidate who's also aspiring, actually to vie for the Ugenya parliamentary seat, and that is none other than Daniel Juma. And Juma, thank you so much for joining us here on KTN News Center. Is this about political parties, or is it about the political party leaders, that is Raila Odinga of ODM and President Uhuru Kenyatta of the Jubilee Party?
Thank you, Brenda. The decisions, not to field candidates, especially by Jubilee, not to field candidates in Ugenya, I think it was not justified because, as you know, we're in the era of the handshake. And one of the things that the handshake, should have addressed is that we are a constitutional democracy. We are a multi-party democracy. And anybody who wants to vie, to vie under any political party in any part of the country is free to do so. These are fundamental constitutional issues, and as such, I don't see the rationale, whereby it could be said that because of the handshake, we will not field candidates here, because let's look at politics like just a game, like Arsenal and Man U, whereby you let the people just play, and at the end of the day, whoever wins, we are all Kenyans. So I think the handshake for me and the Building Bridges initiative are fundamental, and we need to be, sincere about how we want to go about these issues. And you cannot say that if I field a candidate in your constituency, or in your stronghold, then that will interfere with the handshake. So that is what I think.
The handshake is actually killing political democracy political party democracy in Kenya?
There are people who have actually complained because, as you can see, because of the newfound friendship between President Uhuru and our Prime Minister Raila Odinga, you find that President Uhuru's party are shy, to actually venture into that area. And also, we saw that, of course, in Migori and other places. But I can say that this friendship is fundamental, and instead of, interfering with multi-party democracy, the freedom of the people to exercise their rights, sometimes parties, block participants from actually going to the ballot. What that means is that, the will of the people is interfered with. For example, I was in Uganda last weekend, and the people are saying, don't mind, just come and vie, just come to the ballot. We are not looking at parties anymore, and that is the voice coming from the people. But when parties try to shield competition, internal democracy competition, then it tells the people that we want you to choose from only this, this, and this. So,
which begs the question, then from what you're saying, Mr. Juma, it means then there's need for the National Executive Council of ODM and Jubilee to consult their members, because Jubilee, it looks like it did not consult their members by telling them they're not going to field any candidate. ODM, the same thing in terms of you're only giving direct nomination.
Yes, Brenda. I remember writing to the ODM National Elections Board expressing my interest. And, as a life member, I say that whenever elections are held in Uganda, I want to participate in a primary. And Brenda, primary doesn't have to be that primary as usual. The party, of course, I understand that the Constitution allows them to issue direct nomination. But also parties can have ways of determining amongst these people in the party who is the most popular to actually win the seat. So you can go in the way of opinion polling, by an independent organization. You can also have consensus where you call all the aspiring, contestants to come together, and then you can see, and judge who actually is the best to carry, the seat. But they kept telling me that, of course, that this is the person who was there. He needs to go and finish his term. But Brenda, in Uganda especially, these are fresh elections. Whenever fresh elections, and that's why the IBC announced that any parties intending to participate in these elections should give the names and the dates of candidates who will take part in the party primary. And these are the fundamental issues. And of course, the incumbent MP has been at pains, to try to talk me out of the competition. But the reasons, that he gives are different from the reasons from the people. And I kept saying that...
Are you trying to say that ODM party, because you're saying that you're a life member of that party, are you trying to say that ODM party has been twisting you immediately after the Supreme Court nullified the election of Honorable Karani? And what is the way forward for you now that ODM has already written to IEBC? Are you going to go it alone, or are you going to challenge ODM's decision in court?
No, the ODM party has not been trying to twist me. But what they have done is basically they did not respond to my letter. And I was kept basically waiting until last minute. But yesterday I spoke to the party leader, and we will meet soon. And I will present my case to him. He's the party leader. The ODM party has internal mechanism of handling such grievances. So I will try to pursue this grievance within the ODM party. After that, then I can know, what next to do. But the candidate himself has been, trying to twist me, to send messages and to, basically to say that by me running, I am spoiling his chances of retaking the seat. But that is neither here nor there. Power belongs to the people. And the people of Uganda they have another chance, to decide who will be their MP for the next 3 years. So it should not be about me going to finish those years. And Brenda, this is why I say that politics should not be about a career. As you know, for me, I have my career, but I'm going to politics just to serve the people. So if the people...
Are you likely to step aside for your rival, for your political rival, for the sake of the party?
Brenda, that is a decision that I will make after I have my meeting with the, with the party leadership.
Right.
If the party leadership convinces me that this is the best candidate and he is our best, this is our best shot for, for getting that seat, then I can make that decision. I am not hungry for power, Brenda. What I am cared about is that, are we giving the people of Uganda enough choices, or are we limiting their choices and telling them that you have to choose only between these two candidates?
All right. It takes me back to my question that ODM has already written a letter to the IBC telling them, Karani, Honorable Karani, is a candidate for the Uganda by-election. So, and you're a life member of the party. So what is the way forward for you? Apart from just meeting ODM party leader Raila Odinga.
Brenda, as you know, the political class, especially, during the last parliament, they tried to make it also very difficult for, for party hopping or even to run as independent candidate, because for you to run as independent candidate, you must have resigned from your party 3 months before the date of the election, So the other option would be to run on another party. But then, as you know, Ugenya is a predominantly ODM. So the nomination, the primaries in Ugenya, could as well be the general election, because this is an ODM zone. And that is why it is very, very unfair, that you are locked out of participating in the primary, because the candidate who has the ODM ticket has almost a 40% advantage over other candidates. So by telling me to, look for a smaller party, it's already some kind of a level playing field. And yet, Brenda, I have been a member of the party. This is the only party that I've been a member of. My other opponent, Mr. Karani, in 2013 when he ran, he was also not nominated. Then he went to a smaller party called the National Agenda Party, and only came back in 2017 just for the sake of running for the election in 2017.
All right.
So,
Mr. Juma, you're among some of the aspirants for these by-elections who've actually raised strong sentiments. But let's also listen to Julius Mawathe, whose election was nullified by the Supreme Court after the former Member of Parliament of Embakasi South actually contested and actually raised concerns about his election as the MP for that area. This is what Julius Mawathe had to say after the Supreme Court nullified his election.
Nawashukuru ndugu zetu kutoka kwa chama cha Jubilee kwa barua walioandika kwa nyumba za press ama kwa media, inaonyesha kusema ya kwamba hawataweka candidate hapa kwetu Embakasi South. And kwa hivyo mimi nawashukuru sababu kama ninavyosema kwa lugha ya Kimombo, in the spirit of handshake, ni vizuri haya mambo tuweze kuwa tunafanya kazi pamoja. Na kama kweli hawa ndugu zangu kutoka hichi chama cha ODM, hata wao wawe na consideration. Hakuna haja ya kuharibu wakati, hata wao wamuondoe mwenzao. Kama kweli tuko na coalition ambao tunasema ni wiper, hata wao tunawaomba waondoe mmoja wao, atafutiwe jambo lingine la kufanya. Lakini endapo wataamua ya kwamba tuwaharibie wananchi wakati na tuende tukapige kura tarehe 5 mwezi wa 4, tuko tayari, tumejiandaa na tutawashinda kwa kura nyingi sana.
There you've had it, Mr. Juma, in the spirit of the handshake. Tuko tayari wakiamua kwamba tunaenda na candidate wao, and of course that is Honorable Julius Mawathe, whose election was nullified by the Supreme Court. He's actually supporting what the Jubilee Party has done, and he wants also ODM to follow suit.
Yeah, that's kind of course, contradictory. I sympathize with Mr. Mawathe, but as you had, basically, ODM said that in that particular constituency, they want to go it alone, and it is the right of ODM to do that. And I feel, of course, Wiper, is free to field their candidate, in Embakasi. So, as I keep saying, that the people of Embakasi are the ones to decide. So, and Brenda, I think maybe in future, if parties are not able to hold primaries, maybe we can ask IEBC to assist parties so that the primaries, even within the parties, are seen to be free and fair. And also the issue of money for holding the primaries are able to be sorted out. These are some of the things we have to do. And maybe once that is done, then parties will feel, freer to be able to hold the primaries. This is one of the things that Parliament must, talk about, so that the parties don't have an excuse that we are not able to hold primaries because of budgetary issues. So, so that's how I look at it. And maybe in future also we can allow parties to field more than one candidate in a by-election, so that if we have two individuals within a party, wanting to vie, so we can, the party should be allowed to have 1 or 2 candidates, and you let the people decide. Because by locking out other people, you are basically saying that, the people of Kenya, you can only choose from this and this and this.
So why do you think ODM, which is in NASA coalition, decided to, fill their own candidate and not just have a candidate from the NASA coalition? And yet, as I've told you earlier, ODM is in the NASA coalition.
Brenda, I think it's because NASA, as you heard from Honorable Sumra, in the interview, he basically said NASA, of course, is legally alive, but technically, dead. I don't know how true that is, but, and again, I don't want to get into that. That is NASA's own decision to make. But rightfully, I think ODM felt that they had the numbers in Embakasi South. And of course, Honorable Sumra has been MP for that area for quite some time. And maybe because of that division, because of the involvement of different NASA parties, then they were able to lose the seat. And also you can see, Brenda, in Langata, one of the reasons that ODM lost that seat is because we had ODM and the Wiper candidates, fighting for the same seat. So they divided the votes, which would have, let NASA be able to keep that seat. So those are some of the fundamental issues. But I think it is their decision to make. If Wiper wants to run in Embakasi, I think they should be allowed to field their candidate.
So what message is ODM sending to the candidates, to its candidates, especially you, and of course what is ODM also sending to NASA and Jubilee also sending to its members who wanted to vie for these seats?
Brenda, we are a constitutional democracy, and the reason why I belong to a party is not for fun, but to be able to capture political power. Brenda, membership of a political party should count for something. You get my point? That's one of the reasons I'm a member, that whenever there's a vacancy in Uganda and I feel like I want to vie, I should be given that opportunity. And then if you look at the constitution, the party constitution, the ODM constitution and other parties, gives members that right, to be able to participate, in any elections whenever they're called. And even the party constitution itself, the ODM party constitution says that they can field candidates in any elections, in any part of the country. So we should not have an excuse of not fielding candidates. And also Jubilee should not have an excuse that will not field candidates in Uganda, because that will interfere with our newfound friendship with the ODM leadership. That should not be there. I think moving forward, let's allow party members, to be able to compete and let the people decide. And I think once this is done, I think we will allow, anyone who wants to become a party member to do so freely. But as it is now, and Brenda, maybe because they were telling me you need to wait until 2022. But, what assurance do I have that in 2022 they will not issue direct nominations?
All right. What assurance do you have that 2022 they'll give you the direct nominations? Let's wait and see what happens once you meet ODM party leader, because you've said that you're going to have a meeting with him just to raise this concern. It is a developing story that we continue keeping a keen eye on here on KTN News Center. We've been talking to Daniel Juma, one of the candidates who's eyeing the Ugenya parliamentary seat, raising pertinent questions about the decision by Jubilee Party not to field any candidates for Ugenya and Embakasi South parliamentary by-elections. And of course, so far, Jubilee and ODM have written to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, just telling them that they already have the candidates. Now, taking us to a fast short commercial break here on KTN News Center, 9:30.